Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my channel for yet another What We Really Learned from the past Chelsea game. This time, Chelsea 2, Newcastle 0, as Chelsea just keep on continuing their lovely run of form that even put us back into the top four ahead of Liverpool. So everything's really just coming up Millhouse these days. Everything's brilliant. And to make things even better, I'm joined by two, actually now three, extremely special guests. Let me put Lewis back to the bottom because you all know Lewis's face all too well. But Ian, we haven't seen in a little while. Craig, how you doing, bro?
I'm good. How are you, my man?
I'm very good, very good. Very glad to have you on again and very excited to talk a bit of football. And of course, Mr. Monster himself. We have him back on again as well. Always an honor to have you on, bro. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm happy. I know we're going to discuss it, but yeah, look at where we are on the table. How can I not be happy? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. It's exactly my thoughts, honestly. And of course, my partner in crime, Mr. Carefree Lewis G, popped up as well. How you doing, bro? Obviously, we only spoke 45 minutes ago, but still, maybe something's changed. I hope you're well.
Yeah, I'm all good. I'm good. 5 wins in 5, another 8 out of 10 from the Danish Maldini. We're good. We're eating nice. We're good.
And before I get into anything else, big up, Wayne, becoming a member. Love that from you, bro. And anybody else, if you fancy becoming a member, click the join button underneath. You know, if you fancy that, of course, do so. All the information is there. But if you're new here, please be sure to subscribe first and foremost. Help me hit 10,000 subscribers as soon as bloody possible. Smash the like button. Helps me push these videos out to more people because, like I said yesterday, the more likes these things have, YouTube is like, oh, people like this. Let me recommend it to more different people. So just smash the like button if you're watching this. That'd be massively appreciated. And of course, if you have anything to say that you really want to make sure I see in the chat, do use the super chat function. But of course, you don't have to. And, you know, like I said already, we will talk about Chelsea 2, Newcastle 0. And especially the first half yesterday was just really good. Like, I would argue probably our best half under Tuchel. I think also the first half in which we scored 2 goals in one half, if I'm not mistaken, this season. Or not this season, but under Tuchel. So, you know, progress is visible, I would say in that sense. Obviously, the second half was a little bit less exciting and Tuchel on the side, like going a bit crazy, saying like, stay in the opponent's half, stop dropping deep. And clearly there's still a little bit of confidence issues within the squad that they maybe don't trust themselves to see things out the way the manager would like. But let me go with Monster first. Because I've obviously had Ian's and Lewis's views roughly earlier already. But Monster, what did you make of the game? And also, what did you have that feeling as well that it's a little bit of lack of confidence in terms of, you know, seeing things out in the second half?
I wouldn't say there was a lack of confidence. I think we won the game quite convincingly. Like, if we're being honest, Newcastle didn't really pose any threats. Obviously the first half was more exciting because obviously we went at them, we got our goals, we were getting at them, getting chances. But then I think with the second half, it was more of a professional approach. You know, if you guys remember the Mourinho days when we would start winning, then they will cool it down, be more professionals. That way they don't overexert themselves, you know, prevent injuries and things like that. So I would say it was more of a professional approach in the second half. If anything, it was more professional.
Okay, I mean that is a fair shout. Obviously, I'm just going by the fact that obviously Tuchel was going a bit crazy on the sideline, basically shouting at them, "Stay up, stay up, stay up." Which the players didn't seem to listen to that much. But I guess it's all a work in progress. And I guess, you know, let's touch on the positives first. And the first half was brilliant. I mean, the first half was really good. We were playing some very lovely attacking football, but we're using the width perfectly well. Obviously, Newcastle had a few players missing, in particular, probably Callum Wilson, hence why they didn't really cause us any threat for us defensively. But we still dealt with them really well. You know, at the very start of the game, they were actually coming out a little bit and trying to press us. That didn't last very long. They tried it again at the start of the second half, a bit more physical as well. And then the ref started giving every single free kick to them and not a single free kick to us. That was I thought he had a bit of a mare, quite frankly, and we'll talk about the 2 penalty decisions as well. But yeah, the first half was good. Obviously, Werner could have scored earlier from the layoff from Alonso, even though I let him off for that one because a headed layoff is always tricky because it's difficult to predict where the headed assist is going to go, and especially when it's in the air, it's a tough one. Obviously, he had a shot from was assisted by either Hudson-Odoi or Kovacic. I can't remember, one of the two probably. And obviously, we had a couple of shots from Kovacic and maybe Alonso as well. It was just going up Millhouse until Tammy Abraham got injured. Ian, what did you make of that? Well, did you think that was a penalty? I thought it was. To me, he collected Tammy's foot first, then the ball, and then he properly went through him. And like Tuchel said after, he might have gotten the ball, but it was a reckless challenge. I mean, it was what was the terminology in English? It's like a scissor slide tackle, like when he opens his legs up and goes through him and stuff. I thought it was a very reckless challenge and certainly should have been a penalty. And a bit baffled that VAR didn't look at it because I think that was a clear and obvious mistake.
I think the thing for me about the penalty is, I personally, on first impressions, I genuinely thought it was a good tackle. He made contact with the ball. That's what I thought. Depending on how many times you want to watch it back, your opinion might change. To be honest with you, I haven't watched a lot of the penalty back or the potential penalty back. But yeah, no, I don't know. I originally thought it was a good tackle, but yeah, I mean, I can understand why people would have a problem with it. But also at the same time, you know, VAR is there to get rid of clear and obvious errors. And I know maybe I'm going a little bit like referee-like here, but it's to get rid of clear and obvious errors. And I think that one was maybe not clear and obvious. It was kind of a little bit of an interpretation one. So I can understand VAR not looking at it. But again, the more times you look at something, the more likely you are to give it. So yeah, I think more that one, it was a little bit more rubber the green. You get some, you know, you win some, you lose some with that one. But you know, Tammy coming off changed the game completely. It made us have to think about how to play. Obviously, Olivier Giroud and the threats that he poses. I had a friend of mine, Newcastle fan, that was in the chat. He said this game was made for Olivier Giroud. And in hindsight, to be fair, obviously you don't like wishing injuries upon anyone, of course, but Tammy going off actually made a real impact for Giroud, because if it was Tammy in the position where Giroud was when he scored the first goal, I don't know if it's going in, honestly. So I don't know. I think a few opportunities were going to be created in the game. And to be honest with you, the one for the penalty when, or the potential penalty when Tammy got taken down, a better touch, which could have come from someone like Olivier Giroud, gets put in the back of the net. But yeah, I just think it was those two, one half a dozen of the other kind of things. Obviously, we only know how the game turned out, of course, because Olivier Giroud played so much. But maybe it'd have been a very different game with Tammy. I'm not too sure. But for me, I think the penalty was just one of those kind of, you win some, you lose some occasions, to be honest with you.
Yeah, can I quickly just say,
Yeah.
And with that opportunity, Tammy, that to me, I was not happy with the fact that Tammy even let the guy catch him. Like you were, you know, yards ahead of him.
Great run, really good run.
Good run, but then you know, after the run, what was he doing? Why couldn't you tuck that away and just, you know, put an end to it? And that's
the touch was heavy. The touch was heavy.
Yeah, that's why I was just like, Tammy, like, come on, man. Like, the man should not be catching you there. He should not. And that's why I was just not happy. But the tackle, I don't know. Like, it looked like he went through the man to get the ball, but at that moment in time, I just didn't care. I was just like, brother, he shouldn't even have gotten to it. Yeah.
That is fair.
Technique anyway.
Go on.
We've always said that, like, he's done well for himself right now of the lack of experience he's had at the top level, but there's always been questions about his overall ability to carry the team. So it's still like he's a slow grower, if that makes sense, because I do think half the criticism for Tammy comes because we've seen the growth of so many other players in our squad, and we're thinking, why isn't Tammy growing that quickly? If he did, he'd be one of the best strikers in the league right now. And right now he isn't. So it's still a case of like he's growing. But Monster, you're around the case where he should have really have had that tucked away anyway. But I'm still confused on the fact of whether it's a penalty or not, because different angles are making me think different things. I'm still not too sure about it.
To me, it's like Jester put here in the chat. If that was Kane, Bruno, Mo Salah, when I see the kind of penalties that especially Salah has been given recently, where it's like the tiniest tug of the shirt, man goes like that, guy falls over and it's a pen. And I'm like, you go through the guy. And someone said earlier, you know, you can just scrap defending full stop if that's a pen. You know what I mean? Like, I don't agree with that. He collected Tammy's foot, then got the ball, and then like properly rattled through him. If you touch the attacker before you touch the ball, that's a foul. And as far as I'm aware of the rules, if you collect the attacker before you collect the ball, we've seen it on plenty of occasions where the defender actually got the ball first and then the attacker, and it was still given as a foul. So, and now he collected the attacker first. So to me, it's a foul. And especially, obviously, when I compare it to other situations, what other people get given. But I completely agree with what Monster said. A better touch, and he's in. And he scores anyway. And that's the thing I will say with Tammy, because what Ian said in terms of would he have scored the position that Giroud scored from? I'm pretty sure he would, because I actually, from all of our forwards, if he's in a goal-scoring situation, I trust Tammy the most out of anyone to actually not miss.
Really?
Yeah, by far. Like, when have you ever seen Tammy miss a chance? A bad touch, like yesterday, is a different situation, but that stopped him from actually having the chance. But if he had a good touch, he 100% guarantee he scores it. He doesn't miss. He doesn't miss the goal. He doesn't. He always gets it past the keeper. So
aerially, Tammy's shocking.
Yeah, awful.
Aerially,
Even yesterday, he had one that he should have done better with.
Yes.
Yeah, there was one early on in the game.
That's where Tammy is a bit abysmal aerially, and that's where he needs to improve.
No, he really does. He really does. I said this on Twitter yesterday. Like, can we just get Drogba in just to teach Tammy to be good in the air? Because if Tammy was good in the air, he'd be one hell of a striker. Like, he'd be so good. And like, I mean, obviously people have different opinions, but like I said, to me, Tammy is probably the one I trust most if he's, say, one-on-one with the keeper to actually put it away. I just remember not long ago, Giroud had one. He ended up being offside anyway, but he just dragged one from inside the 6-yard box and just put it like a yard away. I'm like, what are you people doing with these chances? Him, Werner, Pulisic has missed sitters. I'm like, what are you all doing these days? But enough about the negativity, other than obviously he's injured. Let's hope he's not out for too long, because he's still a big part of what we had. And Giroud, again, seemingly Ian has a slightly different opinion on that, but I thought, other than the switch ball to Alonso and the goal, I thought Giroud was really poor. Didn't hold up a single ball in the second half. We punted it long. He didn't hold up a single one of them to help us. We couldn't pass our way out, so then you have to find different options. And that's when I would like, if we have Giroud up top already, can we at least have some sort of use of that? Because if Giroud doesn't hold the ball up, what else does he do?
I think the main thing for Giroud is I don't think he was intending to play 70 minutes of the game. So I think he did start to fade off. But, even one thing I will say in fairness to Giroud is he does move people around, I find, more than Tammy does. And one of the main things I was going to point out about, and we'll probably come on to Alonso in a little while, but he caused havoc and he caused chaos because it was very unpredictable whether he was going to go inside, outside, left, right, and it made the defenders have to think about what was going on. The more opportunity defenders have to think, more potential nightmares happen for them, more mistakes happen on their part. And I kind of felt like Giroud did that a little bit more than maybe Tammy would, in causing these mistakes and causing this chaos to go, oh shit, what's going on? Who am I going with? And it happened in I can't remember what game it was. Oh, it was when Mason Mount scored against Sheffield
United?
Yeah. And Giroud went in. Everyone was so like, oh my God, I have to go with the World Cup winner and whatever, and you have to go and mark Giroud. And he left so much space in behind for Mason Mount, and he tucked it away. And I just think Tammy, again, he's young, so he can learn this. But I just think that Tammy lacks that little bit. So although he doesn't necessarily do stuff on the ball, Giroud, and he didn't hold the ball up, and he was far from perfect yesterday, he did do the odd thing off the ball that helps the team out and makes us a little bit harder to play against.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I would also say, though, in terms of pressing, Tammy is much better than Giroud just because of the pace. And I also think our first 20 minutes, we were probably the best in terms of pressing in the entire game. I don't want to stick too long on the Tammy and Giroud debate, but let me just get Lewis's and Monster's opinion as well. If you had to pick out of the two, who would you usually prefer to start, Monster?
Between who, Tammy and Giroud?
Yeah.
It's a difficult one. To me, it goes on the type of game.
Yeah.
I think low blocks, Giroud might be better. But do you know what it is as well? I feel like Giroud is more reliable in the bigger games as well.
That is true.
I feel like he's more reliable than Tammy. I feel like I look at it like this. If I'm playing as a centre back, someone used to play centre back, who would I rather play against? And I would rather play against Tammy Abraham because I know physically I can get him off the ball. I can just take a couple nibbles at him, floor him or whatever when the ref's not looking and do things like that. With Giroud is a nightmare to play against because he might not be as tall as Tammy, but he's bulky and stocky and hard to handle. So I would go with Giroud. Honestly. I just feel like that experience. Tammy needs to learn how to use his body better, maybe bulking up a little. I think he needs to work on that. Also, as much as we say he's hold up play and blah blah, I still feel he needs to work on that as well, because a lot of the times he looks clumsy. Like he will fall off the ball and things like that. There's just certain things in his game that he needs to work at to prove that he's worthy of being the main guy at Chelsea. I'm not convinced the hierarchy are convinced of him. I'm not convinced they are.
I mean, I do agree with that. I do think that for Giroud, this is a little bit of a nostalgia thing. I do think this season his holder play has been poor almost every time he's played. Maybe that's a little bit of the age catching up with him. I don't know. I just felt like that more often than not. And I do agree that Tammy does fall over a few times, too many times, but it's also a bit of a nostalgia thing to remember that he's bad at it. Lewis agrees with this, I know. In my opinion, significantly improved on it, the holder play this season. I thought there's been a number of occasions where he's done really, really well at it. He still falls over sometimes too much. I agree with this, but he's 22. Like, Drogba wasn't the hold-up guy he was at 30 or at 28 when he was 22. I think that's just normal. And I'm sure Giroud wasn't either when he was 22, mind you.
When Drogba came in, Drogba was how old? I think he was 24.
Yeah.
Around 23, 24.
24, yeah.
I think it was something like that.
I think 26, to be honest.
I can't even remember, but I remember when they said they announced that Chelsea are going to buy him before Mourinho would even come in and all that. So it was like the 2003-04 season, I think it was. Yeah. During the Arsenal Invincible. So I remember Drogba, they were saying, oh yeah, Chelsea are going to get this guy and blah, blah. And I remember going to do my research and watching him play. And he had carried that Marseille team to the Europa League final. At the time, it was the UEFA Cup final. I remember just thinking, Jesus, like, this guy is going to be something else. Obviously, he struggled in his first couple of seasons, but a lot of that was down to injuries because Drogba did have his injury issues in it. But you could always tell that this guy was going to be a top player. With Tammy, as much as we say he's young, he's not got experience, Tammy's played in the Premier League before Chelsea. Obviously, we loaned him out to Swansea. He's also had experience at Aston Villa. He did very well there, by the way, as well. So he does have a lot of loan experience in the Premier League and things like that. But he hasn't convinced enough. Do you get what I mean? To say, I'm going to be the main man at Chelsea for years to come. Do you understand? I just don't know. I'm trying to see it. But hopefully he does prove me wrong in it. Hopefully he does.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all agree that Tammy Abraham won't end up the kind of player that DJ Drogba was, but I think that's an extremely high standard to hold anybody to, quite frankly. It's also like saying Hudson-Odoi will never be as good as Hazard. Yeah, he might not be. Doesn't mean you're going to end up a bad player, though. And I actually checked. Drogba was actually 26 when he joined us. So even in that Marseille season, he was 25. So even that is 2 or 3 years older than Tammy is now. And 2 or 3 years in that age bracket can make a big difference. I'm not saying he will end up like that. I'm saying we don't fully know that yet. But just quickly before we, get up to other things, Lewis, who would you pick out of the two?
I'm not really sure, to be honest, because we've had the question about whether he fits Tuchel's system, but Giroud's come and had a brilliant performance yesterday. Tammy, I think, links up better with Timo Werner, and even under Lampard's reign, we saw that they had better results together than Werner and Giroud had. And I echo what Monster says with Giroud, it's like the right settings where you can get the best out of him. But like other than that, it could be really hard to get enough out of him because he has his deficiencies as a striker as well. Like, for example, he's 34 years old. He's not going to last a full 90. He's barely going to get to, like we said, the 60-minute mark. So I'm not sure. It's heavily dependent on form as well, because I think form can get the best out of either of them too. But I'd probably just say Tammy right now. That's all subject to change.
I do see where I would go Tammy as well. I think they're very similar in a lot of things in terms of overall ability. Both have strength in different areas. Like I said, I think Tammy has the finishing. Giroud definitely has the aerial ability. I think in hold-up play, they probably equal each other out, even if this season Tammy has been better at it than Giroud this season. But I think overall, if you're going to give them one game, I think they're equally as likely to do good or bad at it. But then when I rate players similarly as highly, I always prefer to pick the younger one because there is progress possible. with a 34-year-old, Giroud isn't going to get better anymore. And Tammy has the possibility to get a lot better than he is right now. That's just my thoughts on that. But I don't want to get too hung up on that whole situation, because in the 31st minute, we did finally get that goal, and it was the man who we did touch on a little bit now, Olivier Giroud. But I think the biggest credit in that goal has to go to Timo Werner, who I've criticised on a number of occasions this season. He can't get past people. He doesn't do that. His left foot crossing his paw. It still was, but on that occasion it wasn't. Went past two players, smacked the ball into the danger area. The goalkeeper had to parry it out, and it fell to Giroud, who smacked it in from close range. And that was even before he scored. That's the kind of Werner we've been seeing for the last 2 or 3 games. He did it against Sheffield United, got the assist, won the penalty, even against Spurs, won the penalty. He's slowly but surely getting to where we need him to be, isn't he? And let me go with Ian first on this one.
I love the first goal yesterday for the main reason is that obviously Timo got the kind of smack in the face, or he got contact in his mouth, but it clearly pissed him off. It clearly got him annoyed, and that's what I've seen for the last 6-7 weeks with Timo, getting more and more frustrated. You know, I should be doing that. I should be bearing this chance. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. And he's getting better. And yesterday, I really loved the fact that he came. Obviously, he had to go off because he was bleeding, and then he came in straight away. And it was in the space of 20 seconds. Chelsea were 1-0 up from when he was allowed to come back on the pitch. He makes his really darting, jinking run, really, really good. He drew people in, caused chaos that he can do. Wasn't necessarily obviously him putting in the back of the net, but got himself in a very decent position. Put the ball into a danger area, and although it wasn't perfect, he created the goal. He used that aggression. He used that pissed off nature that he's had, and he made the most of it. And I was just so impressed by, especially the first goal for him. And although it won't go down as a him assist, I'm pretty sure it'll go. I don't even think if anyone got credited for assist, but probably he made that goal completely. He completely utterly made that goal, and I'm so happy for him that he's ended up on the score sheet himself. We'll come on to that in a moment, I'm sure. But the first goal, especially. I loved seeing it. It was aggression. It was energy. I loved to see it. It was really, really good. Really, really happy for Timo.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Although I did think the moment where he started to get so pissed off at the ref when he gave him that death stare, I was like, mate, that wasn't a foul. I don't know what you're talking about. You just ran into the guy. But hey,
he has got a man up, to be fair. He has got a man up.
Yeah, if it pisses you off and it helps you play better, I'm all for it. But what did you make of the first goal, Lewis? And I guess might as well touch on it already before we touch on this goal as well. Timo Werner's performance overall.
Yeah, brilliant first goal. Love also the pre-assist from the Danish Maldini as well to set up Timo Werner for that amazing assist. If we're going to give it to him, but we're shameless here, so we're going to give it to Timo Werner as well anyway, because it was a nice link-up. And I've said I had my reservations about Timo Werner on left wing, but he looked a lot more confident as the game progressed. At the start, first touch was still letting him down. He still looked like he wasn't having that self-belief in himself. But he started growing more and more into game as the game progressed. Got a goal and an assist, and his confidence just looked to keep growing as the game went on. That was his second man-of-the-match performance in 2 games. I'm not going to say too much because it's still his first goal in 100 days in the Premier League. But let's just hope it don't take as long to get to the next one. I'm very optimistic. And the thing that keeps us optimistic about Werner is his overall game. And he always keeps himself involved in the game, even if he doesn't necessarily get a goal or assist. So I've always said it's never like a Morata situation, because Morata would just literally walk around the pitch and do nothing for 90 minutes. Timo Werner gets himself involved. You can see that there's the effort and there's a willpower. It's just the lack of self-confidence and just a poor end product at some points as well that has been letting him down. But maybe it looks like he's turning a corner. Maybe. We do have to see with future games, but I'm optimistic. I'm happy. It's a good performance.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. That's a weird thing with Timo Werner, because he did 2 things very, very right yesterday, scoring and obviously getting that assist that won't officially count as an assist. But he also had his Timo Werner moments with some shocking touches, running into people for no apparent reason. And also,
minutes was a big howler, but he got better from then.
Exactly, and especially the second chance he had when he put over the bar, could have done a bit better with. What did you make of his performance, Monster? And we will touch on the penalty in a minute as well, because I would say all of us agree that was arguably even more clear, because there was nothing anywhere near the ball. But what did you make of his performance, Monster?
He had a good performance. Obviously, he did have Timo Werner moments, the bad control and things like that. I don't know. It seems like now it's just every time I'm expecting him to have one of those type of moments. It's just mad, isn't it? But
Yeah.
I think he had a good game, and I'm hoping he builds on that to has performances like that, which builds his confidence, and because when you're confident, you start to do things you don't even know you could do. That's one thing confidence does for you, innit? So hopefully he can continue doing what he did. To me, he wasn't a man of the match, because the man of the match to me undisputably was Kovacic. But I would give him like the second man of the match if that was a thing. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree, and that is the next guy I want to talk about after. Just again, a bit like, I wouldn't even say it's 100% a penalty to me, but just if we're going to have consistency in the Premier League with decisions, with things that Bruno, Salah, and other players get given, if you just shove the guy as he's trying to control the ball, like, it's just, and he fell over easily, but that shouldn't even matter. Even if he doesn't fall over, the shove is enough to stop him from controlling the ball and to stop him from doing anything. So that's a foul and a penalty. And I don't understand what the ref was doing. Like, every tiniest touch that Mason Mount especially had, free kick every time. Shelby was trying to manhandle Mason Mount, and half the time we never got a free kick. I thought that ref was on some dodgy shit yesterday, I won't lie. But that brings us on to Mateo Kovacic, because he was brilliant. And at the moment, he's honestly turning into prime Zidane. Yes, the finishing product still isn't there, but the way he works his socks off in midfield, both defensively, going forwards, the way he gets himself out of difficult situations, him and Jorginho passing their way out of tricky things, that ends up with Kovacic has the ball, gives it to Jorginho, starts the run, Jorginho gives it back, Kovacic carries the ball up the pitch, and then was even starting to have more positive and better passes. He's getting better and better at that under Thomas Tuchel. The amount of times he found Callum Hudson-Odoi in good positions out wide, then ended up in a good cross, the fist across the danger area, where someone realistically, and again, that's why Timo Werner probably isn't man of the match in our opinion. There was so many crosses by Hudson-Odoi for fizzing past the far post. Werner should have been there every time. That's his position. He played left inside forward. That's where you have to be when the right wing back crosses the ball into there. So start getting there, Timo, because he could have easily had 3-4 goals yesterday if he just got into those positions. And he doesn't quite do that often enough for me. Again, a bit like Giroud, they love a good cutback, while Tammy is the only one that actually attacks the front or the far post and has those tap-ins. That's why neither of the other two ever have tap-ins, but Tammy does, because he's the only one that goes for those, which is another credit I attribute to Tammy Abraham. But Kovacic was just brilliant, wasn't he? Yeah, like, talk to me about Kovacic and this, like, under the whole Thomas Tuchel reign, really, he's just been a different animal, honestly. And I said this after the first two games. Yes, he has been great, but I need to say this for longer from him, because we've seen it under Lampard, under Sarri. He's always had spurts where he had 2 or 3 good games in a row, but now he's had 5 good games in a row, and that's why I'm starting to see. That's why I'm starting to hype him like crazy now, because I'm like, hey, five good performances in a row ain't that easy. So I really have to rate it, and he's arguably getting better and better. I would say yesterday was probably his best performance under Tuchel.
I said it from the word go. When he first joined Chelsea under Sarri, pretty sure Lewis was standing behind the camera at the time. I said the words, and I'll stand by it. Mateo Kovacic is the dog's bollocks. He is the dog's bollocks.
The Arsenal game. I remember.
I stand by it. The first time I saw him, I rated him so highly. Now, he's not the perfect player in the world, but he's equality. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on this channel. Sorry, but I have now.
It's too late now.
He is so good. He is so good. And I've seen it at multiple times. And I completely agree with you. There is moments where it does and doesn't happen. But last 5 games he's been superb, and even in the Barnsley game where he came off the bench, I just looked at that and went, he really doesn't have to give that much of a shit in this game, because he's too good for this, and he's still come on and he still made the job that was tough for us, to be fair, when we were hanging on towards the end. He made it a little bit easier. He can't obviously do the whole thing by himself. He's one guy who's not exactly massive playing in the centre of the pitch, but he drives the ball up the pitch so well. He's got this really good range of passing as well. The one, I think it might have even been for the Timo chance, where he just kind of switches it with his right foot, sweeps it back across to the left-hand side. And I can't remember if that was the one that led to Alonso's header or if it was another one. But he makes these really good, nice passes. A lot of people think that I criticise both Jorginho and Kovacic, both as individuals. I really like, and I have liked him for a long time. I really like Kovacic. I've liked him for ages, and I like Jorginho. The only thing I have a problem with is can they do it together? Because there's no height in there. That's where I've got a little bit of a worry. But I mean, in terms of talking about one person and one player alone, Kovacic's performances over the last 6 games, including the substitute appearance against Barnsley, it's just been superb. They have been absolutely superb, and this is the guy that we signed for 40 million quid. This is what we can get. He's a player that is completely suited to the Premier League. Does need to add a final product and better play in the final third. But I remember reading, I can't remember if it was Cruyff's book or it was Guardiola's book, but either way, they basically said, my job for Barcelona style is to get you out of your own third, through the middle third, and into the final third. And Mateo Kovacic, every time I just see him pick up the ball, I went, there's nothing here stopping him from running 2 lengths of the pitch and just going and going and going.
Mm.
When he gets to the final stage, yeah, probably could work on it a little bit more. But in terms of transition and going from defence to attack, he's been brilliant. He has been absolutely superb. Just want to see a little bit more from him, but that could come with time. I mean, he has shown us that he can score goals. Hopefully we can see it a little bit more regularly, but absolutely superb from him. And I probably agree. I think you kind of had to give man of the match to Timo Werner yesterday. But, I mean, even Chelsea shared it on their Twitter earlier, the stats that he had from last night. He was brilliant. He was absolutely superb. Went massively under the radar, and he has done for quite a while. But in the last 5-6 games, solid as hell.
Yeah, that's it. And I will say this: if Kovacic did have that final product, he probably wouldn't be playing for Chelsea because Real Madrid would have never sold him. Of course, you can make the case we can get that out of him, and I'm sure Frank Lampard tried his bloody socks off, and if Frank Lampard can't, you could argue maybe no one can, because if Frank Lampard can't teach a midfielder how to score, maybe no one can. Who knows? But hey, we'll have to wait and see. At the end of the day, Kovacic has been absolutely remarkable, hasn't he, Lewis?
Yeah, Kovacic was excellent the last 6 games, and that game as well. It's just he made everything look so easy. We can talk about how impressible he is as always, and that comes with Mateo Kovacic in general. But for me, it was just a calm, easy flicks out of pressure when he has 2 or 3 people trying to press him. He just finds someone out of nowhere. It's like needle through a haystack sort of passes. And it was brilliant. His dribbling as well. Ian said so much about how excellent he was in the game, so I don't need to add too much into it. But his play, defensively and progressively, excellent. And yeah, he just made the game look so easy for himself for the whole 90 minutes. Werner is going to get the man the match, but it is heavy goals and assist tax behind that. It really should have been Mateo Kovacic, but both had excellent performances and both look to be absolutely shining right now.
Exactly. And Monster, I will get your thoughts. Anything to add to that? Obviously, to what Ian and Lewis already said, because there's not much more to say. He was just really good, wasn't he?
Yeah. I did do the watch along to that as well. I know Lewis did it and Craigo did his. I think you did. I'm not sure if you did yours as well, Laurenz. But
no, I didn't actually.
The whole time I was saying,
love it.
When Kovacic was getting the ball, all I was saying, I was basically taking a piss. I was like, listen, I was basically talking to the Newcastle fans, like, there's no point pressing him. They just forget it. Don't even bother. Do you know what I mean? And every time they tried, he just whizzed past their players, and it was just mad. The thing with Kovacic for me was that I wish he could do a lot more of that in the final third, where he can either just go past them, goes past their players and try and go one-on-one with their goalkeeper, or at least thread a ball through, which he doesn't necessarily do a lot of, and that's been my criticism of him. But he seems to have added that to his game recently, so I will give him that, and I will apologize for my criticism. The only thing I would say is I hope he does it consistently. If he can do it consistently, then the rest of the league and teams in Europe are in for they're in trouble. Do you know what I mean? But we only need him to add that final product to his game, because the reason why Real Madrid got rid of him, because I was watching him while he was at Real Madrid, was because he didn't have that end product to his game. Hence why they've replaced him with Federico Valverde, who's just like Kovacic, but has that final end product to his game. So hopefully, if Kovacic can do it on a consistent basis, do what he's been doing these last few games, then yeah, he could be a shout for player of the season with obviously Gundogan. Do you know what I mean? He's been playing that well.
Yeah, he has. At least under Tuchel, I thought under Frank, but wasn't quite that it, in my opinion. But you touched on Valverde there, and to me, Valverde is just Ruben. Uruguayan Ruben is what Valverde is to me. Maybe a little bit more like defensive solidity, right? But in terms of stature, in terms of dribbling ability, in terms of having that finishing product. Although I will say Ruben hasn't quite had that at Fulham, but under Sarri, obviously Ruben did. I know I'm not even going to get your thoughts, Ian. I know you're just going to slate Ruben. I don't want to hear it.
I like him, but I still want to see a little bit more from him. That's my main thing.
Yeah.
Ruben is not on Valverde's level, at least not right
No.
now.
Of course he isn't. Right? Of course. Even I will say, as much as I love Ruben, he isn't on Valverde's level. I'm just saying in terms of type of footballer. But ladies and gentlemen, we have 230 people watching, which is brilliant. So make sure you subscribe and smash the bloody like button. Let's hit 100 likes right now. We're on 51, I think, 59 actually. So smash the like button right now. Let's hit 100 right now, and maybe even 150 down the way. I guess the next few players that I want to touch on are the back three. I want to touch on the back three because obviously we're going to talk about Marcos Alonso in a little bit as well, but the back three. Because obviously Thiago Silva has come out of the team with that injury against Spurs. I know we conceded against Sheffield United, but that was just a brain fart moment between Mendy and Rudiger. You can blame both of them. You can give more blame to one of them, less blame to the other. Doesn't really matter. Both of them screwed up there. Unless Mendy shouted, "I'm coming," and Rudiger passed it anyway. But we will never know. So because we don't know that, blame has to go to both of them. But still, even without Thiago Silva in this shape that we've been playing, we've kept just clean sheets after clean sheets, and no opponent has managed to score against us. Plus, the back three is, in my opinion, a big reason why both Jorginho and Kovacic as a partnership have looked so good. Because, and someone put that in the chat earlier, what Thomas Tuchel has arguably done best so far is, and Lewis said this on his stream earlier in terms of Alonso, but it doesn't just go for Alonso, it goes for Jorginho and even Kovacic as well. He's found a system and found a formation for the time being where each player's weaknesses are hidden extremely well. Because you don't see an issue with Jorginho being slow anymore. We've not even noticed it. Because first of all, the counter press is a big reason for that. We win the ball back so early that Jorginho never has to run after anyone. You can just attack all of them and win the ball back. Brilliant. Kovacic, similar situation. He is better defensively than Jorginho because of the pace, but sometimes he loves a good tackle that isn't really necessary in that moment, and then he's on the floor and people run past him. And the similar things go for Alonso. Obviously, with Alonso, we full well know that he's a left wing back, not a left back, right? But the back three have done well. And, I've said this on a number of occasions. A lot of people say, play Reece James at right centre back. People need to stop discrediting Azpilicueta. And I've touched on this with Lewis and Ian already, so I'll go to Monster first. But the whole of the back three, but in particular Aspi, I think Matt Law maybe, or one of them said, Aspi has found his mojo back. And I think if Aspi played right centre back, he never lost the mojo. Aspi as a right centre back is just a really high level footballer, isn't he?
The thing is, okay, what the issue is with a lot of football fans, it's not just Chelsea, it's throughout the game, throughout all the teams, is that we care too much about our favorite player playing rather than our team winning. When Chelsea was winning, all I kept seeing people saying was, where's Ziyech? Why is Reece James not playing? Why is Chilwell not playing? Why is this not playing? Why is that not playing? And I'm like, why do you care? What you care about is the team winning, right? So for now, whatever works to get the W is what matters, right? But people seem to care more about players than over a team. This is not basketball. In basketball, a lot of people follow players rather than the team. So if LeBron James goes to the Cleveland Cavaliers, fans will support him there. When he went to Miami, fans will jump ship and go to Miami. When he went to LA, the fans will jump to LA and they're supporting LA. That's not how it works in football.
Except for Ronaldo fans, obviously.
Well, yeah, except for Ronaldo fans, yeah. But people are too bothered with individual players. To me, all that matters is what's working. So as P working at right centre back, it works right now and it's working for the team. So unfortunately, Reece James is not working because we also saw Reece James at right wing back. He doesn't work there over Callum Hudson-Odoi. Doesn't work. So unfortunately, Reece James can't get in the team. Ziyech, at the moment, what I think it is with Hakim Ziyech is that I don't think he's fit.
Yeah.
As I watched him in the Barnsley game, he looked like he was labouring. I think that's I think that's a match sharpness issue, a match fitness issue. I think what Tuchel's trying to do is being very careful, because you heard him say the last time out that I'm trying to manage the guy in terms of I don't want him to get another injury in it. So that is the reason probably why we haven't seen Ziyech as much as we've seen him. I think he's doing the same thing with Pulisic as well. He's being very careful in how he manages these players. So I would say give it some time. He hasn't been here that long. Has he even been up to a month? I don't think so. Give him some time. A lot of these players will play. Just give Tuchel some time to know what he's doing with his squad.
And yeah, I back that. And if Mount wasn't playing as well in that position, and if Werner wasn't finding his feet a bit more, and these guys would certainly be playing more, because then Tuchel would feel the need, I have to play them, even if they're not at 100%. But because they're not, there is no real need to rush it like crazy. And,
Exactly.
I touched on this. Pulisic, we know that he's extremely injury prone. And through the Christmas period, Frank, in my opinion, played him way too much. And the fact that we currently are getting results even without playing them is only a positive. That can only mean that when Pulisic and Ziyech are fully fit, they can, only help us even more. I do still think that Ziyech has his limitations in terms of pace, but it's also been, well known that even in training and at the squad, everyone's extremely impressed with him. He knows how to work in tight spaces. He has a wonderful left foot. There is a lot to come from Hakim Ziyech still. I still think he's one of the losers under Thomas Tuchel, because I don't think the system suits him as well as it does others. But hey, that isn't to say that he will never play well and that he will never feature. But yeah, going back to the back three, I still think all of them have impressed. Obviously, Lewis does love a bit of an AC hive, with his 3 a.m. tweets. I also think Antonio Rudiger.
Yeah,
Come on. Antonio Rudiger has, as much as there's been a lot of rumors and whatever else, what he might have had to do with Frank sacking, whether they're true or not, we will never know. But he's played well. Yeah, he scored the own goal, but he's played well. And Aspi has played well, and Christensen has played well, and Thiago Silva has played well. And people talk, I can't believe Zuma's not playing. I mean, yeah, maybe with the first 2 games lineup decision, that was an argument. But the others have played too well for Zuma to come in right now. So there's it's as simple as that. You don't drop people if they play well. Yeah. Except Mendy, apparently, because there was no need to drop Mendy for yesterday. I don't really. I mean, I still didn't understand it, especially saying after, Mendy's still the number 1. So why did he have to be dropped? I mean, this whole crap, he needs to recover mentally and physically, and that's a whole lot of crap. Unless he maybe had a bit of a fever.
Transfer valuation with him. They're just trying to raise his transfer fee because it's the only thing that makes sense. Board getting involved again with the lineup, but we got the 3 points, so I don't care too much. If we lost,
and it worked. It worked.
Really now are we doing this? But we got the 3 points, so cool.
Exactly. For once, it actually worked. Kepa was actually good. I bigged him up even for the free kick save because he didn't let it bounce. He saved it. And a lot of goalkeepers, including Kepa, including Mendy, they would have parried that, but he held on to it. I think that is something that people underestimate, that goalkeepers need to hold on to balls. And obviously the save from the header, I think Kepa made that look a bit more fancy than it actually was because it's a bit short.
Bro, he's got the worst save percentage in league history. I'm just taking this and running with it because the bar has been set so low. I'm happy. Good performance. Let's go Sheffield United in the cup, which will probably be his next game. Have another good performance in that one. Maybe has another few good games. We can loan him out somewhere. I don't know. We'll end up having a decent loan spell. Maybe he can improve even more. But all this is just trying to raise his valuation fee.
The only thing I would say, though, is that are we really willing to risk points to raise his value? To me, that is a... I wasn't necessarily happy about it. I know when people say, oh, yeah, we're trying to raise the value of these players. Bro, I'm not going to lie. At this point in time, in this weird season, I'm not trying to risk no points to do that.
I'm not saying we should. But I know what they're trying to do. That's the reasoning behind Kepa. Because other than that, I'd be like, yeah, why the hell are we starting him when we've got Mendy, who's better in every other department? But this is what we're doing. This is exactly what Chelsea is. We're about profit first, and we're trying to raise our second most expensive transfer ever into some sort of valuation to sell him off for, because we're going to make a massive loss on him regardless. But it's about at least getting something at this point. Just thank God we didn't lose. Because if we lost and Kepa was involved in that game, we'd all be fuming at why he started. Everyone who's been against Tuchel when he first joined because they're still mourning Lampard leaving, they would have been perfectly on this. This would have been something for a Tuchel agenda. Just watch. And all this discourse that would be going around based on the fan base if we lost would have been because we forced Kepa into a lineup. That I don't like that, but thank God we won.
One thing I saw. Listen, I've said, Lampard probably, like the unfortunate, sacking of Lampard probably was the right decision because it just wasn't going well. But I saw people saying Kepa's not performing because of Lampard, and I was like, bro, like, do you know how stupid that sounds? That's just such nonsense. Lampard is not the responsible for Kepa not performing. Kepa was just garbage. That's all it was. He was shit. Right. I don't know why people are blaming Lampard.
The Lampard's not to blame for fucking the worst save percentage in Premier League history, or reports coming out that Kepa wasn't even listening to advice or was just refusing to take criticism. Everything sounds like it's the goalkeeping problem. Lampard isn't even a goalkeeping coach. Like, I don't think Lampard would be doing too much in the sense of dealing with Kepa because he's an outfield player. He'd be leaving that to the goalkeeping team. So there's no reason to sit there and say it's Lampard. At the very least, Lampard might not have backed him in the media as much as he should last season. But he just outright basically made it look like he didn't trust him. And Kepa's form didn't give him any reason to trust him either. So why would he have faith in him?
I still get goosebumps. I still get like a butterflies in my stomach whenever a ball comes Kepa's way, bro.
Yeah, that's you as a fan. What about the players on the pitch? That's the thing. And I completely agree with what you're saying about, how many points are you risking to lose? Because, I mean, unpredictable season. If we get another 10 million for Kepa, great. But we miss out on top 4. Well, we've lost more than probably 10 million for not getting Champions League. So it's always what's the cost. And I don't understand it with Kepa. The decision to play him last night was ludicrous, but it's one that's been definitely made by the board. Whether we'll ever know that for an absolute fact, we know it was. We know it was.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with that, and I was in the same boat as all of you guys when I saw Kepa starting. I was like, "Why on earth is that happening?" And just hoping that it will go well, and it did go well. And I will say this for Kepa: he didn't have a bad game since Mendy has come in. He was poor, obviously, the first few games when Mendy played. But since then, whenever Kepa did play, whether it was against Krasnodar, whether it was against Morecambe, Luton, Barnsley, or yesterday, he didn't actually have a bad game in those.
I know.
And he wasn't at fault for any of the goals. I'm not saying I want him to start over Mendy. Not at all. I'm just saying it's not as crazy to start him with. He has a bit of confidence. His form is not that bad. It's not like Mendy is bloody, I don't know, Neuer, and we're dropping him for Kepa. It's not quite that. And I'm not saying we should drop Mendy, not at all. And I'm not saying I want Kepa to be the number 1. It's just saying it's not been as bad for Kepa for a good while, actually.
I know, but we've been doing this thing with Kepa for a long time where we've bigged up the bare minimum. And I've seen ourselves do it with some of the saves as well. But I'm happy. He's not dropping howlers every single game. So I don't want it to sound like I'm still being negative about Kepa. But same way, let's keep the standards the same. Like, with Kepa, we're being happy at the fact that he caught the ball, or he caught a corner, or he made a semi-decent save.
Lewis, let me just get to Monster and Ian quick because they need to bounce quickly, and then we can
go for it.
Finish that off ourselves. Just any final thoughts, because obviously we won the game 2-0. The second half wasn't that fancy, but we are now in the top 4. We are now obviously ahead of Liverpool, which is a good position to be in. Let's see whether Leicester can keep it up for the rest of the season. But what do you expect from now on? Obviously, we've got Atletico coming. How much of a chance do you give us there? And are you confident that we will make top 4 from now going forward, Monster?
I think we have a shot at getting second. I know that sounds wild, but it's only 4 points off. Now, also, there's also Atletico Madrid tie. That's where it's tough. It's a bit of a mad one because hopefully we do win, I'll be praying for a win anyway. I wouldn't pray for anything else. If we win, that would be amazing. But if we also get kicked out of the Champions League and everyone else is still Europe, that could still work in our favor as well in terms of getting higher in the Premier League. But I do want to win. I swear to God. I would love a win over Atletico because that would be a statement. It would be such a statement to the rest of Europe, innit? So, yeah, I'm praying for a win.
Exactly. Like, I agree. I think we can certainly play for second, regardless of whether we continue in the Champions League. And I think it's also a big thing for the club because we haven't gotten past the round of 16 since the 13-14 season. we really need to get past that kind of voodoo, whatever if you almost want to call it that, because we got a little bit unlucky on a couple of occasions against PSG back in the day. Obviously against Barca and against Bayern last season, we didn't stand a chance. We did in the first day against Barca, but in the second one, obviously they absolutely battered us. But we need it for that sense. But Monster, thank you for joining us. I will get to you in just a second, Ian. Subscribe to Monster. His link is in the first line of the description. Thank you for hopping on. I'm sure we'll see you again very soon. Like I said, check him out. And big up to yourself. And thank you for coming on, bro.
Big up to everyone in here, man. Big ups to Ian. Big ups to, obviously, Lewis, my G, and you, Laurenz, and everyone in the chat. Make sure you smash the like button. And man, hopefully I'll be on there soon again, man. Everyone have a good day.
Bless, bro.
See you later, Monster.
Bless, man.
Talk to you soon. And Ian, just quickly, because I know you need to hop off soon as well. Sorry, don't want to keep you for too long.
That's
just quickly, do you have any positivity ahead of Atletico Madrid? I'm sure the last 6 games instilled at least more hope than we had before those 6 games. And obviously, we touched on this on Lewis's channel already. We do expect top 4 and hopefully a cup win. That will be great. But let me just focus quickly on the Atletico game. Do you think we stand a good chance in beating them?
I can't say we stand a good chance of beating them, but we stand a chance. That's what matters. So for me, I mean, I really want to see, I want to see us go out there. I mean, you try and take them on like player for player. I mean, you could get done. Like that's the bottom line. And this is a well-oiled machine that's been going for many, many years. We're a work in progress kind of thing. So the main thing for me, I want to see a little bit of positivity from the team, trying to play our way rather than do anything stupid. If we can score away from home, if we could score twice away from home, then we've got a real shot. We really have got a shot. But thinking back to years gone by in Champions League campaigns and whatever, we've overcome big deficits. Napoli's the one that I think off the top of my head, but it's because we scored away. So I can't say we're going to go and beat them, but we need to score more goals just in general, and we need to score against Atletico, especially in the away leg, to be able to try and get anything out of it. Because I completely agree. We have to get past this dreaded round of 16 and get into the quarterfinals and further to really see where we want to be. But again, I've said about Tuchel, I'm going to make my judgment after the Man United game. But if we can beat Atletico or even go in there and get a score draw, I would be quite happy. If we could keep a clean sheet, then amazing.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. That'd be brilliant. But again, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't subscribed to Craigo28 Football already, his link is down in the description below. Just click his @ and it takes you straight to his channel, helping reach 20,000 subscribers as soon as bloody possible, while also helping me reach 10,000 as soon as bloody possible. We're all doing our thing here. We're all doing our thing. Lewis on the way to 30, Ian on the way to 20, I'm on the way to 10. Hey, we're all doing the thing. But yeah, Ian, thank you for coming on. We'll definitely have you on again soon. I'm sure I'll pop on yours in the near future as well. But yeah, yes, thank you for coming on, and everyone check him out.
See you later, everyone.
Cheers, mate. Lewis, back to us, back to the trusted duo, shall we say, to finish this out. Ladies and gentlemen, we still have nearly 300 people watching. Big up to yourselves. Subscribe if you haven't already. Smash the like button. Do use the super chat function if you fancy it. Become a member if you fancy it. And of course, even though we're not leaving yet, subscribe to Lewis as well. But yeah, obviously, I did kind of interrupt you on the whole Kepa situation I think we were talking about. So do you want to just finish that point, or shall we just talk about something else?
Yeah, I was just saying we're bigging up the bare minimum too much with Kepa, and he's doing okay. He's not dropping howlers every game, but same way, you got to keep the same standards. I'm not seeing amazing performances from Kepa yet, so I'm not going to be on the give Kepa more league games bandwagon. Like, I'm sparingly saying giving him more cup games because we've got Sheffield United next, and we can still beat Sheffield United with or without Kepa in goal. But once we get to the semi-finals, if we're facing a City or a United, all due respect, Kepa, but get Mendy back in the net.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with that. I think in terms of, obviously, just put it there, I can't wait for the Thiago against Suarez meta, but the odds on Thiago and Suarez fighting him, well, it would be quite fun, maybe drop a cheeky pound on that, see what happens. But hopefully Thiago Silva's back for that. Obviously, Tuchel has said on numerous occasions we're trying to get him back for Southampton. Don't buy that for 1 second. If Thiago's fit, he won't play Southampton. He will just come back into the side against Atletico because we won't even risk it against Southampton at all. But in terms of Havertz, obviously he should be close. I did already expect him to be on the bench for this one. He turned out not to be. So I'm hoping he will be at least on the bench against Southampton. Hopefully even start. I said this yesterday with Paisend and who else was on? Rajib. I do think our best way to go, presuming that we're for the time being sticking with the back three, would be to have Kai as a 10 or as a false 9, and then have Werner and Pulisic left and right of him with Hudson-Odoi as the wing back. I would love that. That would work so incredibly well against Southampton, in my opinion, with their high aggressive line. And if Kai isn't fit, obviously just put Mason Mount in that role, in my opinion. But we just really need to have Kai back. We need to have these guys back, because I have so much faith and I have so much hope and I have so much. I just like Kai Havertz so much. I think he's such a good footballer that I really can't wait to see a bit more from him. And obviously we touched on Marcos Alonso on your channel already as well, but some guys might not have tuned into that. So I just want to talk about that quickly, because he was good yesterday. He was really good. Obviously you and I have criticized him on many of occasions, but he was good yesterday. And hey, we have to give credit when credit is due. And he was good. He did good things, had a few shots that got blocked, unfortunately. And he worked hard. He, in my opinion, looks faster than I've kind of ever seen him these days. So fair play to him for that. I think it's the fair play. He is a good left wing back. He is. Does that mean he is always going to be a better left wing back than Ben Chilwell? Not in my personal opinion. But for the time being, he's playing well. He's doing good. So why would I question it too much? What do you make of that one?
Yeah, I'll say this is the best Alonso performance I've seen since Tuchel's joined. Yeah. I think we can both agree that Tuchel's doing his best to minimize his deficiencies. That's the same for a lot of players in the squad, but it's working to great effect. Him and Timo Werner linking up, him doing the underlapping runs into the box, and Timo Werner cutting it back into him. It creates a lot of chances, and he was unlucky not to get a goal and assist. He had a lot of chances and created a lot of chances in the game as well. But it's again the case where we face a lot of very similar teams in terms of the way they play. So I'm not sure what it means for future games, but yeah, Alonso's had a good run of games. Fair play to him.
Exactly. And we have a question by Max Plum here. And obviously, guys, if you want to make sure that I see your message, do use the super chat function. Again, you don't have to, of course, but if you want to really make sure that I see it, I can't see every message otherwise. Max has just put a simple question. Mason Mount or Kai Havertz? How do you answer that one, Lewis?
I don't know what he means. In terms of form this season, Mason Mount. In terms of ability, Kai Havertz. Simple.
Can't put it any simpler than that, quite frankly. And like Melinda said, subscribe to me, subscribe to Lewis, and smash the like button.
Ellie as well. Love.
Exactly. That's all we need. That's all we want. I don't know who's high. I wish I was, to be honest, but just high on a mountain. But I live in town these days, so
I have no idea what he's talking about. No clue. I touched on this already. We touched on this, Kritik, already. I'm not sure if I butchered your name, but I tried. We touched on this, so I might as well go back. Let's go, you Blues. There you go. Mason Mount all the way. Yeah, I can't just agree with what Lewis said. On form, Mason. On actual ability, it's without a doubt, in my opinion, Kai Havertz. There's not much to be said. That doesn't mean Mount is a bad player, but if it's between those two and I have to pick one in terms of ability, it's Mason Mount. It's like, yeah, I like Eden Hazard more than I like Messi. Doesn't mean that he's a better player than Messi. Or Drogba and Ronaldo. It's the same thing. Like you have to have some honesty here. We have to have some honesty. Before we obviously round this out, I do want to touch on a couple of more things. I don't want to talk about Callum Hudson-Odoi. Obviously, he has really seemed to have found a good role in this system as the right wing back. He had a few occasions yesterday when either he doesn't trust the left foot enough, or he had a couple of moments where he could have shot with his right and chose not to. That's a little thing that I still need him to, improve on a little bit. But again, this is not really harsh criticism from me. The guy's 20 years old. The guy's only been starting to get back into the team regularly now since Tuchel has joined. He wasn't in the team every week under Frank. He definitely wasn't. I mean, he started Champions League games and then didn't even make the squad on the weekend after, even though he was good in the Champions League. In particular, after he scored the winner, or not the winner, but one of the goals away at Rennes. He didn't even make the Prem squad on the weekend after, which are just weird things. So ever since Sarri, this is kind of the first time he's been getting regular game time, and he's really thriving, isn't he? Yeah, he's been doing excellently this season. It's been a case for nearly everybody in the side, to be honest. We've been questioning so many players in the bench that haven't had any game time, but this is depth. This is depth, and it's perfect motion for us. There's so many players that should be making the first team squad. They're barely even making it because the players that are playing right now are excelling in their positions. Hudson-Odoi, I've had my questions. My only question is, can we get even more out of him on the left-hand side than we do on the right? Because I think you get a bit more end product out of him once you get him onto his right-hand side. He loves cutting inside, but there's a little bit more of a question mark for him once he cuts inside with what he's going to do. And I feel like once he's on his left-hand side and he can cut in onto his right, he'll be a lot more comfortable in his decision-making there. But he's looking excellent so far.
For sure. In terms of if you're going to play him as part of the front three, I think he's definitely stronger on the left. But I think as a right wing back, if we just had more of the other front three making use of his work down the flank to use those crosses that fizz across the danger area, which I've touched on earlier already, if we had more people making use of that, we wouldn't even talk about that much, because Dan Hudson-Odoi in the first 6 games under Tuchel would have nearly 10 assists. So, do you know what I mean? Like, it also comes down to, in terms of when it gets to assists, it's like with Reece James. Reece James has, 3-4 assists max this season? He should probably have 15 if the likes of Werner, Tammy, even Giroud at times, or Pulisic made use of his crosses. And that's kind of a slightly similar situation with Callum Hudson-Odoi at the moment. He could just do more. This Giroud hype is so weird to me. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but you people talk about...
Turning up, I was going to say the Metropolitano, but maybe not.
Not quite. Maybe we should just get Batshuayi back just for that game. But
we are not that down bad.
No, just because he scored the winner there, isn't it?
No, I respect the vibes and the nostalgia, but if I see him in a Chelsea shirt ever again, it'll be too soon.
That is true. No, people are hyping Giroud up as if he's bloody Drogba. It ain't that. It absolutely ain't that. We'll touch on Tammy again quickly, Rowan, just for you, even though we've touched on it already. And a lot of people are asking me, is second a real possibility? It is.
Yes.
I've said this on a number of occasions. I actually don't care whether we come second, third, or fourth. It does not matter to me. The only reason why it matters is because we can take the piss out of teams who finish ahead of us, because Man United think they're big now because they finished ahead of us on goal difference last season. So for that reason, it's good. But in actual reality and in actual facts, it doesn't bloody matter now, does it? Whether you come second, third, or fourth. Yes, a little bit of money, I know. But even that isn't a big difference. You get the Champions League money, and that's all that matters. The points difference to City, I do care about that, because it leaves it kind of matters in terms of how much do we have to catch up with next season. But at the end of the day, I don't care. Well, what do you think? But certainly, second is more than possible.
I think everything's up for grabs this season. City, I think there is a drop-off in there. They look like an excellent team right now, but everyone said that about Liverpool a month ago. Anything can happen this season.
But bro, they've won 15 games on the bounce. That's an all-time record in the Premier League.
15 isn't the all-time record. Like, I swear they had a bigger record themselves in the Centurion.
I thought that, but then I read everywhere that this is Guardiola's longest ever winning run. So it has to be, I guess.
Okay, maybe in that case then. But my point's, let me be optimistic, please, because right now it's the most controversial season in Premier League history. I think if there's any time to see a bottle job, it would be this season. I think there's plenty of opportunities to see teams drop points. You just need to be consistent. And Manchester City is showing exactly how key consistency is. But if we can have that same level of consistency against the bigger sides, who's to say we can't? But I'm not going to speak anything on the title right now, because I just want us to get a minimum of over 66 points, and then we can look past that and then can continue to look forward. But we already said this squad was capable of being title contenders. It was just whether the manager or the system would work. And now we have Tuchel and we have a system that looks like it's working. If it continues to do that, maybe. But maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it would feel weird, wouldn't it, if we won the league in a season that we sacked Frank in? Because then Frank still got us those amount of points to get there. And it would just feel weird, wouldn't it?
Well, you think people just use it for Lampard agenda?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be a downside if that happened, everyone. But people are already saying with this run of games, why didn't we sack Lampard earlier? Because we might have been in the title race right now. So to say if we won it, then yeah, we did just sack Lampard at the right time. It's not anything about it. It's just you can still respect where Lampard left us and what he did in the year and a half he was with us, but just a stroke of genius move for the club. That's all it would be. Anyone trying to use it for an agenda is just being fake, because we all love Lampard as a player and as a legend anyway. It's just like the same people who said Lampard out need to say, separate the player from the coach, and then you see the legend.
Yeah, it is true. It is true. And yeah, Yusuf, that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's not his longest unbeaten run, but it's definitely his longest winning run because they've won the last 15 in a row, which is just crazy, to be honest. So I'm not sure about the City one, and they're doing all of this without Aguero, which is crazy in itself. And even De Bruyne is injured these days, and they're better in teams left, right, and centre. So you know what I mean. I will want to talk about this one. Obviously, I touched on this in my player rating stream last night, but I do want to talk about it with you because for me, it's just Kante isn't done. But while Jorginho and Kovacic are playing like they are, and especially while we're using a 3 at the back formation, there's no need for Kante. I don't want to see Kante start unless it's for rotational purposes. I just don't. He doesn't do as well as Kovacic or Jorginho, so why should he play over any of them? I don't care whether he's overall a better player. He doesn't play as well as them. He was shocking against Barnsley in the first half. He was poor yesterday when he came on, and he just doesn't give anything to us at the moment. He just doesn't, or does he? I mean, I know I'm getting very harsh, but in my opinion, N'Golo Kante is the most protected player by Chelsea fans.
I would say that, like, I've had my issues with Kante FC in themselves. They really can't take any criticism on their star boy, but I love Kante. I still think there's a role for him in the side, and I think Tuchel is going to try and find the way to incorporate him. But we're in the same situation we were in last season where Jovic are playing so well. It's like, yeah, where does N'Golo fit into this? And we don't know. But that's squad depth for you. The same thing I said like 5 minutes ago about the Hudson-Odoi situation and the defensive situation, the big bench that we have. It's options. We've got plenty of options. If there's an issue in midfield, you can slap Kante or Gilmour in there. We've got Tammy and Giroud waiting on the wings, and we've got Ziyech and Pulisic waiting too, and Kurt Zuma. Like, these options are ridiculous.
Yep.
So anything's up for grabs right now. But yeah, I don't think Kante's done yet. If they're holding him to his high standards, he's dropped off from that. But I wouldn't say he's done.
And I'm sorry, Mark, but this is an outrageous statement to make. First of all, Thiago Silva is world class. Second of all, Kovacic is world class. Not every game, but Kante isn't bloody world class.
He's world class.
Kai Havertz, yes, hasn't shown it yet this season, but Kai Havertz is one of the. I don't like to use the word generational, but Kai Havertz is generational. So, you know, you can't be telling me Kante is the only world-class player because the last time Kante was world-class for more than the odd game is 3 years ago. So I'm not even going to say this is a swap. I would love both of them, quite frankly, because we are a club that is not in financial need to sell anybody. And I don't want to strengthen anybody that could be a challenge to us, whether it's in Europe or in the Premier League. So as long as we don't need to sell Kante, don't sell Kante, even if he doesn't play every game. For some games, he is incredible to have. So I want to have him stick around. It's as simple as that. I don't need us to go out and make money. We need to make money with the likes of Emerson or Alonso, with the likes of one of our centre-backs, whether it's Zuma, Christensen or Rudiger. Make money with one of them. That's where we can make money. And with all of the loanies, Barkley, we will probably sell for like up to 30 million, I would argue. Let's see whether Ruben comes back. If not, we'll probably sell him for up to 30 million. We make so much money. We don't need to make money of selling Kante. We really don't need to. So I really want him to stick around. But Lewis, do you have any other more things that you want to touch on? Because otherwise, I think we should probably slowly but surely round this out. But we still have over 200 people watching. So again, ladies and gentlemen, smash the like button. Help us reach 150 likes. We are on. Let me just wait until it updates. On 132. So just 1808. So 18 of you, go down below, smash the like button. Actually, just all of you, go down below and smash the like button. And subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, check out news as well. Would you have anything else more to add about yesterday's game or about anything else that you want to touch on?
Just happy with the performance. I want to see what Southampton's like because they'll give us a more attacking performance. So it'll be interesting to see against a team that really gives us a game. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm good.
It will be that, isn't it? Because the weird thing is Barnsley did. But Barnsley's pitch was just so bad that we struggled to deal with it. If Southampton do this, do we play them at home or away? I don't even remember. Do you know? Away, probably.
Southampton, it's away.
Yeah. So their pitch is obviously a lot better than, Barnsley's pitch was. But, hey, I'm very confident. Also, Southampton are in shocking form. Like, don't underestimate how bad Southampton's form is. They've lost like the last 6 games. I know they beat Wolves in the FA Cup, but they lost to them in the weekend in the league on Sunday. They lost 9-0 to Man United. I know 2 sendings off in that, and one of them got even revoked and shit. But still, they're in dreadful form. We should really be beating them. We really, really should. The only thing I would be slightly worried about in that game is if we rotate a bit too much in terms of Atletico. That's the only reason why I could see us dropping points to Southampton is if we rotate that tiny bit too much.
Yeah, some rotation, but we got decent gaps in between our games, to be honest.
I mean, it's Saturday, Tuesday, and it's in Bucharest, so it's not that long.
Saturday, Tuesday, and then it's a Tuesday, Sunday, isn't it? We got United on the Sunday kickoff.
Probably. Let me check. I don't know.
Yeah, and then it's also because we got the Monday into this Saturday as well. We've got decent time in between games to rest.
Yeah. Between Atletico and United, we've got a good rest. Oh, and then we've got a full week off, actually, between United and Everton.
And then the same thing for Everton and Leeds.
That's true. I'm surprised by that. I'm surprised that the Sheffield United game is so late, actually. Oh, did you know this? You know that the Sheffield United game postponed the Liverpool game for us?
Yeah.
I didn't realise this. So this actually makes things a lot better for us because now we don't have to play Liverpool the weekend after Atletico at home. Now, that is brilliant news. I love to see that. Absolutely love to see that.
Excellent. I love that.
Exactly. What is here about... Lewis doesn't seem to have his own opinion, just saying yes, whatever Laurenz says, dudes. This is wrong. We just we just happen to share a lot of opinions.
No, he's talking about Kante being a DM again. I can't be asked for this argument. This has been going on for 3 years and it's still been wrong. Can't be
No, but Faldiaso, he's not wrong. Jorginho and Kovacic wouldn't look as good against City and Manchester United. You're not wrong there. But our average game isn't against Man City and Manchester United. Even if we beat Man City and Man United, in theory, with Kante in the side, we still have to play 32 games against different types of opposition. And you don't win the league or win shit by having the best player for 4 games. You need it for 38 games.
How many teams in the Premier League sit deep and park the bus? Half the Premier League is a minimum.
Not even half, mate. It's like 2/3, bro. Let's be honest.
Exactly. Like the quality of Premier League football, to an extent, absolutely stinks because it's just low block FC versus low block FC. So Kante will thrive in a DM position because you ain't going to press him. You're going to leave him, which is why he has time on the ball and he's calm. You put him up against Manchester City, what happens? He gets exposed every single time because he is pressable. That's why he is not a lone DM. If it was another league where you have actual teams that give you performances every single match and try and chase the game, then he'd be getting exposed a lot more too. You play to your players' strengths. N'Golo Kante is a box-to-box centre mid. We've had this argument for years. Where did he win the league at? Box-to-box centre mid, back-to-back years. I'm not hearing anything else. Lone DM against teams that sit deep. And that's it.
That would obviously be somewhat unfortunate if that is to be
true. Allow that bullshit, man. No, I need to see that first.
Yeah. You go check on that. I will reply to Rohan's comment here. First of all, he's not the best striker we have, in my opinion. Second of all, by that logic, just because he did it against Sevilla, by that logic, does that now mean Tammy Abraham is the best striker we have against every team in England because he's our top goal scorer in the Premier League and in the cup competitions? So just because one guy has obviously a good record and 4 goals against Sevilla isn't every other team. And Manchester United couldn't be much more different from Atletico Madrid couldn't be much more different from Sevilla in terms of a play style than, like, you couldn't be more different if you tried. What's saying here? Just a heads up that needs to be rescheduled. Liverpool is likely to be between Man United and Everton matches. Well, that wouldn't be fun. But I guess, hey, we'll just deal with what we get. We'll deal with what you get. And, we get dubs left, right, and centre.
You know what? It'll be like a big top 4 battle by that point. If we smoke them at Anfield and Timo Werner bags a brace, the gas mode that you're going to see me on is ridiculous. Also, the Danish Maldini putting Salah in his back pocket. I'm all here for this.
And I big up there the comment from Jesters, and I also have the question of Yusuf. Why on earth do you have so many tabs open, bro?
I always have air tabs open. Like one's for the live streaming app while we're streaming, another's just a YouTube studio for my other video. There's two of the same ones, a bunch of Reddit posts. I think
And by the way,
you, man.
there you go. And ladies and gentlemen, of course, 2 big Champions League games tonight, especially the Barca PSG one. Should be a bit of fun to watch, even if it's without Neymar. Should be good fun. So I think we've got. Sorry.
Is there an early kickoff?
No, I think they're both at 8:00.
Oh, for goodness sakes, man! I've got to pick between like 3 bangers.
Well, it was the third.
There's 4 games on right now. Liverpool's playing. Where was it? There's
Liverpool playing in the league.
No, Porto, Juventus, Sevilla, Dortmund, Barca, PSG, Leipzig, Liverpool.
What, am I dumb?
Oh no, I'm dumb, bruv. 2 of them are tomorrow. I can't.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Man.
You have me well confused there. Anyway, Troy, I hope Leipzig smoke LFC. I hope, like I said already, I hope it's the deadest 0-0 and both of their fans fall asleep from boredom. That's what I want because I hate both of them.
Drawing a few red cards. We're all here for it.
All that. There are 2 UCL matches. Yeah, exactly. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to leave it here. It's been going for an hour and 16 minutes. We had a lot of viewers today. Big up all of yourselves. Again, thank you to Ian and Monster for jumping on. Subscribe to them if you haven't already. Subscribe to Lewis at Carefree Lewis G down in the description below. Click his at and takes you straight to his channel. Subscribe to him or follow him on Twitter and obviously all the socials. Subscribe to my socials. Follow me on the socials. Laos1507 on both Instagram and Twitter. Subscribe to my channel. Help me reach 10,000 subscribers as soon as possible. We already hit 150 likes, so big up yourselves for that. But if you haven't smashed the like button just yet, go down below, smash the like button. Doesn't cost you any money, doesn't cost you any time at all. So you might as well do it. And it helps me push these videos out to more people, which of course will be massively appreciated. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Become a member if you want to. Click the join button underneath for all the information there. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up to Chelsea, and I'll see you next time.